Alright, welcome to my second holiday cube draft. I did one in the summer when it was up, and now it's up again. So, in this pack there are some interesting cards. One card I really like is Wurn Power Stone. It taps with 2 mana, so it's basically soldering, but it comes into play tapped, of course. This enables a lot of sweet decks. First of all, it's pretty good in almost any archetype that wants to cost big things. It's not good in an aggressive red deck, of course, but almost every archetype wants this card. Mono green wants it. Storm it's fine in. It's also pretty good in a Wildfire deck. So one of the things I can do is to take this Wurn Power Stone and hope to wield the Wildfire. If that happens, that means that no one else is in this deck. Another card is sweet is Zealous Conscript. You can steal Planeswalkers and you can get Splinter Twin. Also, if I will Tolarian Academy, that could be good. Other options are like Ancestral Vision and Kozilek. So this pack is pretty weak, so I'm fine taking a Wurn Power Stone as my first card. Let's see where that leads us to. Alright, so now we have a Daretti. That is a sweet enabler. So if you can get an artifact into your graveyard, which you can do with a +2 ability, you can then get it into play by sacrificing something like a Wurn Power Stone or a Mox or a Singlet. That card has a lot of potential. It goes pretty sweet in a red-blue artifact-based deck. You don't even have to be that heavy on artifacts, just a few big things to get into play, like a Sundering Titan is sweet. So it basically is a Goblin Welder type for -2, and for +2 it loots, which is not bad. I mean, this card does stuff even if you don't have any artifacts in play. It digs you. Goblin Guard, of course, is for mono red, and this pack is also pretty bad. Gush is an interesting card. I don't actually like Gush that much in this cube, unless you get fast bond. So looks like we're not gonna be on the Storm deck, although there is now a fast bond in this pack. It's also Ulamog, and Ulamog goes great if you can get Channel or a lot of mana. Chrome Mox is fine, but it's not the kind of Mox I really want. I think Compulsive Research works pretty good. It is card advantage. It can put artifacts into the yard for this card, so that you don't have to wait a turn. The problem with playing this and plussing it in hopes to get to reanimate something is that you can just kill it with a removal spell or creatures, whereas with Compulsive you can play it on turn 3 and then on turn 4 immediately you can reanimate a Mere Battlesphere or a Sundering Titan. So also card advantage. It's a sweet card. Fast bond is nice if you're going the Storm deck, but we're not doing that this time. Alright. So Shrine is not really for this deck. You want to be aggressive. Chandra Flamecaller is an interesting card. I think it's a little weak in this cube, just because the minus have a hard time killing creatures. That being said, it is pretty good to ramp into with the Wurn Power Stone. An alternative is to take Plateau. I can then maybe get some twin things going on. Chandra is not great, but if you ramp into it, I guess it will do something. Also, Plateau is not that important. There is not that many white cards you want to splash, so I guess we take Chandra. It's a pretty good card to have against an aggressive deck. So now we have to choose between Chandra, Torch of Defiance, Pentad Prism, which is mana ramp, and a Vendilion Click, which is just a value card. I think Chandra is very good in this cube. The ramp is good, the card advantage is good, and killing creatures is good. So looks like we're gonna get a lot of Planeswalkers. Treasure Cruise is a little too expensive, I think. Here's an underrated card, that's Fiery Confluence. So it basically can destroy a lot of artifacts. That's the important part about this card. It's also a mini sweeper, so you can always deal 3 damage to every creature. If you choose the first move 3 times, you can deal your opponent 6 damage if you get them low on life. So yeah, I like Fiery Confluence. Lightning Bolt is also a good card, but it's better in the Legacy cube. I think in this cube there are a lot of matchups where Lightning Bolt doesn't do that much. You always play it, but I think the best card in the pack is Wall of Roots, but we're probably not green here. Tanglewire is not great. I've actually tried it. The swords are not great either. I think Electrolyze is a nice little utility card. So I think Electrolyze is a better card than Lightning Bolt often because you draw a card. So it's very hard for Electrolyze to be completely dead. That being said, we may not play it, but I think it's better than a random sword. We have 0 creatures right now, so I think Electrolyze is nice. And this pack is kind of straightforward. Just take Tesseract. While I don't think Tesseract is that good, it can be sweet if you are heavy artifacts. So you basically play it and you tutor up something good for 4 mana. Or you can tutor up something for free and then you can use it to tap it for mana. There is nothing else I want to play. The red creatures for pretty aggressive. Ooh, Wildfire Wheel. Okay, now we have a plan. Also Kozilek, but you really want Channel, I think, to play that card. Or some kind of Shallow Grave. But Wildfire is great. So now we're going to prioritize artifact mana pretty high. Because Wildfire just destroys everything in play, creature in play, and you have to sacrifice 4 lands. So the way you get ahead with this card is to have a lot of artifact mana in play. Or you can have a Planeswalker in play, but usually that's kind of hard. But Wildfire plays pretty nice with Chandra. You can use +2 and add +1 and add some mana. Here it's Fada card. It's a fine sideboard card. Oh, so I think Chromox is good now that we have Wildfire. Chromox is not my favorite Mox, but still a fine card. I guess take Geist. And the only card I may want to splash is Brutality. The Invala could be annoying if we pick up Goblin Welder. Although you don't really have to hate draft in a league. Still, let's sort by converted mana cost here. Alright, so we have Ralsaric, a sweet card, but I think we're getting overloaded with Planeswalkers now. We also have Remand. That's a very good interactive card because you get to redraw a card and you often end up ahead on mana. I think it's between Remand and Phyrexian Metamorph. Phyrexian Metamorph is a sweet card. It's the best creature in play, or you can just copy a mana rock. So it's kind of a tough pick, but I think since I have a lot of expensive stuff right now, I think Remand is going to be good. We need something that can interact early. Basically, it's my thinking. And let's sort of convert to mana cost. Here I think it's pretty easily Basalt Monolith. You may think, oh, Cryptic Command, that card is insane, but it's going to be hard to cast, and Basalt Monolith works perfectly with Wildfire. Also you can get it with Tesseract. Yeah, Basalt Monolith is sweet. I don't know if there's a Wake Trasher in this cube, I doubt that, but Artifact Mana is the name of the game. Once you have Wildfire going. Alright, so we could take Through the Breach, it's a speculative pick. Then we could maybe wield Ulamog. Or if we get an Emrakul, that's pretty insane. Wooded Foothills is a nice card, but we don't have any duals. There's also Jace Vryn's Prodigy, a sweet card. Very good early play. Impulse is also an option. So Through the Breach could just be a win the game card if we get some huge artifacts. But we don't have that yet, so I think Jace is a nice card. If I was certain I was gonna wheel Ulamog, then I might take Through the Breach, but people seem to like Ulamog and the big Eldrazi. Here it's Ancient Tomb by a mile. It ramps us very nicely. I wouldn't mind some mana fixing, which is why I was a little tempted by Wooded Foothills, just so we could maybe fetch these Stingwings, which I'm gonna pick now. As you can see, I have a lot of different colors in my deck, And since this pack is pretty weak anyway, I might as well take the Steam Vents. And now, the nice thing about Steam Vents is that any fetch land that can get a mountain or an island now is mana fixing. And that's good. Here we can take Boros Signet. Mana ramp, great with Wildfire. And I didn't pick the Plateau, but if I had picked the Plateau I could now splash some white cards. But yeah, Signet. Avalanche Riders is not really a great card. I don't think. We rather cast this Wildfire. So we don't really need to destroy one land, although it can be good against Storm. I think the pick is Sacred Foundry. Yes, Taiga is actually a better card in a vacuum because it doesn't cost you 2 life, but there is very few green cards I want to splash, and Sacred Foundry now together with Boros Signet could now enable some splashes for white. Daze is an interesting card, but Wandering Fumarole is mana fixing, and we need that. This is not a deck where you want to return your lands that much, since we have so many expensive cards to play. So I think the mana fixer is good. Bonfire is an interesting card, but it's very hard to guarantee having Bonfire on the top of your deck. The thing about Bonfire is that you really want it on the top of your deck in some situations, and there's no way you can guarantee that. I think Ral Zarek can be playable, maybe. Ooh, Inferno Titan. Yeah, that's a nice finisher. I think that's better than Chandra. Ooh, we will through the bridge. Okay. So, if we get Emrakul, we have a mini combo which we're definitely gonna play. Maybe we board in Mishra's Factory. Riftbolt for the sideboard. Yeah. Through the Bridge Inferno Titan is also a little bit spicy. You get to deal 6 damage total. 3 when it comes into play and 3 when it attacks, and then it attacks for 6. Of course, then they can jump it. But alright. Sneak attack. There is also Mindslaver. Mindslaver is a great combo with the ready. The idea is that you get it into play. You get it into the graveyard, and then you get it into play. Then you start chaining it. It is an interesting card. I could also take Sneak Attack, and then I can pick up any Emrakuls or Eldrasis I see. The only problem with that plan is that I have already passed Ulamog and Kozilek, so there's basically only Emrakul left. So I'm gonna take Mindslaver. That card can do some filthy things. Alright, Mana Crypt, great. It is a little scary to play Mana Crypt in this deck, since this deck is pretty slow. So you could end up losing to Mana Crypt. But we do have it ready to get rid of our Mana Crypt. Also we can use this card to get rid of Mana Crypt. So Mana Crypt is insane otherwise, but a little scary. Alright, I guess this is a pretty easy first for knowledge. We do have a lot of artifacts to discard, and it digs us towards our big end. So, yeah. So, Metalworker. We do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 artifacts. That's probably not enough for Metalworker. I could take Lodestone Golem, that is very good against Storm. Only problem is that it makes these cards more expensive, but maybe that's fine. As we already established, I don't like Metalworker in this deck, so Lodestone Golem is a very sick card against Storm. Ooh, Rule Signet, cool. I will take that. And Sphinx of Cecile Wind is a sweet combo with the ready, but it's impossible to cast in this deck, so what can you do? Well, if that was a Mishra's Workshop, that would have been more exciting. This pack has basically nothing I want to play. I guess Lightning Greaves is good with Inferno Titan. I guess I'll take Eidolon so I can sideboard against Storm. Yeah, that's pretty bad. Here, again, nothing I want to play. I guess Karakas is a nice sideboard card in some matchups. Imperial Recruiter. That gives me access to Jace. That is pretty obviously not going to be good enough. So Scroll Rack is not a great card, but I guess it's better than nothing. Oh, I guess I'll take another Planeswalker. And Mental Misstep is actually a fine main deck card, I think. It's a lot of 1 toughness creatures you want to kill. Oh, Metalwork. Is that good enough now then? 6-7, yeah, it's getting to the point where it could be good. Lightning Greaves, Metalwork. Alright, this is not a great draft, but we're not going to play this through the breach, since we didn't get any targets for it. So let's get rid of through the breach. But we do have a lot of sweet stuff going on. I'm going to have to cut some cards. Maybe I can cut this. Let's check the converted mana costs. I think I want to cut 3 cards. I can cut Scroll Rack, and Lightning Greaves is sweet with Metal Worker, but we have so few creatures that it's not going to be good enough. So I think this is fine. Let's check the color situation. And yeah, this seems fine. I mean, I have some 3 double red cards versus 2 double blue, so I think overloading a little bit on red mana is fine. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how this deck plays out, and I will see you for round 1.